Welcome students. Up till previous lecture we have completed module number 3, that is the end content was equivalent single wheel load and its determination with graphical methods, right? And in third module we have completed both the topics, that is pavement material and pavement design, right? Next in this lecture I am going to discuss on module number 4, that is pavement construction. In this pavement construction there will be again two bits, as you all know that the design of soil aggregate mixes by Rutherford method and the uses and properties of bituminous mixes and cement concrete pavement in constructions. This is a particular one bit of your fourth module, and remaining will be from earthwork in cutting and filling, preparation of subgrade, specification and construction. Remaining part will be of your second bit. So in this content I will discuss your first bit completely, and I will give notes on this earthwork, cutting and filling and preparation of subgrade of the layer of particular pavement, right? And after this we'll discuss the problems on this Forge method. In your external exams you will be getting the question on this content, whether you may get the questions to solve the problems by this method, by Rutherford method, or else you may get the question like describe the steps involved in determining the design of soil aggregates used in the subgrade layer by this method, that is by Rutherford method, right? On this regard you may get the questions like this, or else you may get another question like what are the properties of bituminous mixes that is used in the pavement construction, or else what are the properties and uses of the cement concrete pavement that is used in the pavement construction, right? This is what the content that may be expected from the fourth module, right? Now I will discuss the design of soil aggregates by Rutherford method, right? So for this you may have to have a semi-log graph again, and in this syllabus in this subject you'll be having two semi-log graphs for equivalent single wheel load and another for Rutherford method. In either of these two cases any one question will be asked to draw a semi-log graph to determine the particular values corresponding to the content, whether it is equivalent single wheel load or whether it is Rutherford method, right? One question will be asked, write the steps involved in the determination of particular content. Either it may be from module number 3 or it may be from module number 4, right? So now I will discuss that is soil Rutherford method. In this regard, proportion of materials by Rutherford method. This method is used to calculate the particular materials that is required in a subgrade soil. The materials required to mix in the subgrade soil, that is subgrade layer. As we have discussed in the previous lectures, the layers that is prepared for the bituminous material and for the concrete material to provide a pavement, right? In that there is a one layer that is subgrade at the bottom, and this subgrade layer is mixed with the particular materials, whether it may be a soil or whether it may be a granular soils, that is gravels, boulders. Likewise, whatever the material is observed in the field, that material is to be blended together and then that will be used in the subgrade layer, because we cannot use a one material in the only one properties material, that is single graded material we cannot use in the layer, because that single graded layer is not recommended, because some of the whites ratio will be maximum in that content and materials will be required in heavy amount to prepare a subgrade soil, that is subgrade layer. In that case we may have to go for a different graded, that is well graded soil, to prepare for the subgrade layer, right? In this case, we will be having a different types of soils. They say that may be material A, material B, and material C. In these materials, we don't know how much percentage of material A and how much percentage of material B and how much percentage of material C is to be mixed, and how much total percentage are to be considered for particular material of the soil in the subgrade layer is don't know. That is what we have to find out from by using this Rutherford method. That means whenever the subgrade layer is to be prepared, in that subgrade layer we have to fill up the soil. That soil should not be any single material. That soil should be of different materials that is considered that is said to be well graded. In that well graded soil, we have to consider a different soil properties, and we have to plot the graph for well graded soil and how much percentage of particular soil material is to be mixed in the that is subgrade layer. That is what we have to determine by using this Rutherford method. Say, let us consider, we can just in this lecture we just know that how the particular material is obtained by percentage in the subgrade layer. Let us consider as an example of this graph, just like an example. So in this graph we'll be having x-axis and y-axis. This y-axis representing the percentage passing the percentage passing, and the x-axis representing the particle sizes. This x-axis representing the particle sizes from 0.075 mm to 19 mm, whether are prepared in the mix proportion that may be considered here, and particular percentage of passing, how much percentage of passing is there, that will be given, that is calculated in the particular x-axis. And after that, after plotting a percentage passing and CO sizes on the graph, once complete, and then the diagonal line is drawn from point corresponding to the at 0 percentage passing and 0 percentage passing and 0 sieve size. From 0 percentage, that may be considered minimum percentage of passing and minimum sieve size. From that point to maximum percentage passing and maximum sieve size, that will be your diagonal line from corresponding your points of minimum to minimum of sieve size and particle sizes, and similarly maximum of sieve size and particle sizes. So once you plot this diagonal line, then you may have to consider for different materials, say particular aggregates A, aggregates B, and aggregates C here, right? Once you consider these aggregates, then we can plot a particular points, say how much percentage of percentage of aggregates has been passed by aggregates C, that will be plotted here. Say in this regard, it may be observed that the aggregates C has passed 90% directly. We don't have any percentage passing in this area. That is, the aggregate C has not passed any has not retained any 50 mm or 60 mm, 70 mm or 80 mm. Up to this 90 mm, there is no material is retained. Directly it is retained on 90 mm material, that is, and 100 mm material, right? And similarly for aggregate B, and aggregate B is here retained at the 40 mm and again at the 55 mm and again at 94 mm. I think it may be considered 94 mm. And these are the sieve sizes. A particular percentage of aggregates has been retained by aggregate B. And similarly, when you consider aggregate A, that aggregate A is retained by on 0.75 mm it is 0%, and again for 0.15 mm it is 5%, and again for 0.3 mm percentage that is on sieve, it is retained about 0.8%. Similarly, the particular sieve, the particular percentage of aggregates has been retained by aggregate A, that is the points has been located and marked. Once you plot all the materials for the particular aggregates A, aggregate B and aggregate C, you have to join each line of particular aggregates only. Say for example, we have plotted these points for aggregate A, then you can join these aggregate lines by straight lines, right? By joining each point, then we have to plot a straight line. And similarly for aggregate B, we have to consider each points and join with a straight line. Similarly for aggregate C, we have to consider all the points in which the percentage of aggregates has been retained, that is marked, and then straight line will be considered to join the each point. So once we consider these points, the balancing line should be drawn for each of the aggregate. Like you can see here, for aggregate A, we have the plot in this manner. As you can observe this, from these points the aggregate A is retained on particular sieves, right? So the balanced line is to be drawn. That balanced line should be drawn as like maximum percentage of area should not be outside this line. Say you can see this here, the maximum percentage of area should not be retained or should not be left on either side of the aggregate, that is a graded line. So this balanced line should be drawn on particular aggregates. Say aggregate A is drawn like this, you can see it's a dotted line. And similarly for aggregate B, you can see the dotted lines, that is considered for balanced line. And similarly for, you can see for aggregate C, the balanced line is drawn. Sorry, this is second step that may be considered in the plotting the graph. And at the last stage, you can join each of the aggregates lines. Say now I will consider aggregate C. Aggregate C is up to this 100 point, and aggregate at the end of the aggregate C line and at the beginning of the aggregate B line. Say now I will just observe the cursor here. The AE and the particular grade line is drawn like this, and this red dotted line is to be observed. You can observe this red dotted line, and this red dotted line is to be connected from aggregate C to aggregate B. Similarly from aggregate B to aggregate A, the red dotted line is drawn here. That means we have to plot a straight line corresponding the end of the aggregate C and beginning of the aggregate B, and similarly at the end of the aggregate B and a beginning of the aggregate A, the line has to be drawn, right? You can observe this. So here once we plot these straight lines, the end lines, and that line will cut our diagonal line. These red dotted vertical lines will cut our this diagonal line. This diagonal line is considered for minimum and maximum size of the aggregates and the percentage of passing. And this diagonal line is cuts at particular sections by straight lines, and this particular cut point is erected to the y-axis, and that will be measured from a particular axis here. Similarly, and the diagonal line is cut for aggregate C and aggregate B, and that is erected to the y-axis. In this regard, you will be getting three sections: aggregate A, aggregate B and aggregate C. This aggregate line A is cutted at this point, and this will be aggregate A, and aggregate B line is cutted at this point, and this will be aggregate B, and the remaining will be aggregate C, right? In this regard, you have to write the steps involved in the plotting of this particular graph, right? First you need to, in first step you will be considering the particle sizes, that is CU sizes, and on the and y-axis representing, that is percentage passing. This percentage passing and CU sizes has to be plotted, and then a diagonal line is to be plotted. That diagonal line is corresponding to minimum percentage of passing and minimum CU size, and second diagonal, and that second point of the diagonal line is maximum percentage point to maximum CU size, right? This is how we have to plot the graph for the brute force method. In next class I will discuss the problems on this content.